I'm about to start doing some reading this morning. I think I'm reading through Psalms, and I think I was going to I was going to do the beginning of Romans, or of Origen's commentary on both of those, because I think that Psalms is less edited, and Romans blew my mind. So this is from Romans, what I'm showing you right here. And he talks about like the calling of Matthew, who is the writer of the first gospel. And what was the actual first gospel? Mark. Matthew's the one with all the miracles and stuff. Jesus Isus is suddenly like running around doing magic and stuff. But he also gives a really good sermon, the Sermon on the Mount. But Luke wrote later. He wrote like 85 AD-ish, or like that's like when the document's from, which I think the only document older than that is John, which my opinion about like the Gospels is that John's the real one. That's the real story. And clearly right here, Origen's trying to say, like, just so you know, Luke was a Levite, or Matthew was a Levite, just so you know, Luke was written after to let you know not to trust Matthew, is what Origen is trying to say here. So when we talk about how Matthew's a tax collector and the Levites were tax collectors, and you guys are going, wait, you're saying the Levites? What I'm confused here. Who cares if Matthew's a Levite? The tribe of Levite's the one that controls the Ark of the Covenant. They're the ones that know that God's not real. Like, they're certain. So they're editing this guy Origen's works, which is like my clone's work, and they're like saying things like, the high priest will heal you, black people are cursed, pay taxes. Here, they're like literally saying, like, you might not want to pray to Isus. Like, we've been thinking about him. Like, he's terrifying me. Like, we shouldn't pray to this guy. We should go pray to Elijah. But let's go to the bottom. It says, consequently, the remaining possibility is that we should pray only to God and Father of all, yet not without the high priest who was appointed with an oath according to the verse. He has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever after the order of Milchizedek. So Origen's a Greek, right? And he's a sophist, and they are complaining of, like, the writer who's translating it is complaining about the sophists. Like, he's literally complaining about them. And the sophists were non-Jewish people. But the writer of Origen, who's changing the text, says right here, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. Once again, the holy priests of Aaron, they're the people of the circumcision. That's what they call themselves, because their main job is circumcising and praying with people. And that's why they make sure they give themselves permission to drink wine after prayer. God commands them to drink wine after they pray. But they changed the entire language. So like when it's using Lord, you know it's not Origen, because Origen tells us, like he gives us a little clue. I think in the second commentary on John, he says something like, the Samaritan woman calls Isus a Lord. Why would she call him Lord? And Peter says titles matter in 1 Peter. Isus was the Lord of Nazareth, and they covered it up because they didn't want anyone to know who he actually was. Like, it's like they covered his existence up because they didn't want anyone to know he was Jewish, and they changed or they didn't want everyone to know he was Greek. They didn't want everyone to know his name was Isus. Like, they literally talked about it on First Principles for Origen about like how they need to like start not worrying so much about changing the name of things. The name of Jesus doesn't really matter. It's the sentiment. So back in the day, there were the tax collectors, and if you couldn't pay your taxes and stuff, they will put you in debt jail. So like the religious people were like holding hands with like the kings and stuff like that. And if you remember, like the kings would have to bow down to the Pope. There was one king who had to like sit outside in the snow or something, like because he got excommunicated, because the Pope had the ability to banish you to hell. So in this document, the Song of Songs document, he's complaining about the tribe of Judah being too inbred, and then he starts talking about how the best tribe is the tribe of Levites. It says, moreover, we deduce that there is something greater and apart from Israel from the fact that in the book of Numbers, all of Israel is numbered and allotted by fixed numbers to the 12 tribes of Israel, but the tribe of Levi, because its excellence surpasses others, is considered above this number and by no means counted in the number of Israel. So Levites were not numbered among them, counted by Moses, and probably because there weren't that many Levites, I'm guessing. So the priests are described as more excellent than the Levites. And so the priests are the order of Melchizedek, right? So the Pope right now, he's from the order of Melchizedek. He knows God's not real. They've always known God is not real. They have the Ark of the Covenant. Like their whole belief system is like, we're tricking you. We're Jewish, and like no one can know that the Catholic people are Jewish. So after I started talking about origin, the FBI called my sister like the first week, like the first it was like day 3 or day 2. They called my sister and said that like I was going to get charged with making terroristic threats, and I need to print a retraction about what I'm saying on the internet. And like I always get kicked off the internet for saying anything about Jewish people. But I'm like a person that's secretly from the tribe of Judah. Like people like tell me we're Jewish, like that sort of thing. Like someone told me there's a Jewish conspiracy, literally a Jewish girl showing up to my Christian church. Like that was like raided for drugs. So when this Deborah means B, do I know who Deborah is? I was calling Lizzie Grant B for a long time for Beth, but like I thought that she was the Virgin Mary, so I don't know exactly who Deborah is. Who did I get the B knife for? I think that would be for Meg Myers then. Like, I'm not sure, but because we're the bees, like they're the bee nymphs. It's something from Greek mythology, but Awake Barack would be like for, clearly, it's a prophecy about Barack Obama, which, have I said he was an evil clone before? Like, he's an evil clone that won't murder me. Like, I said it before. Like, it's so important that Barack Obama's a clone because that guy will not murder me. And it doesn't mean he won't murder, like, a ton of people. And it doesn't mean that guy is not the biggest Jew, even though, like, he is, like, not aware. I'm a clone of Zeus, and I'm a clone of Izus, and I'm a clone of Moses, and I'm a clone of Sun Kong, and I am a clone of Ramses II. So that's Amun-Ra. And we came from Ramesses. We came from Egypt first, and that's where our first society was, apparently, according to Origen's commentary on numbers. It sure seems like our first actual society was in Egypt, but everyone knows we're from Babylon first, which would be Iraq. But clearly, I'm Ali, and that means that I came to the Muslims, and they rejected me, and they chose violence, and that's why their religion is the way it is. But now it's time for the Muslims to follow me and to join in the permanent gospel, which I'm putting together now. They follow the temporary gospel. That's the prophecy, right? There's a temporary gospel, there will be a permanent gospel. It's time for the permanent gospel, and it's time for the Muslims to have a better society because of me, because my justice is better. I'm the philosopher king, and I'm going to spread my justice to everyone. But first we have to apparently go through the apocalypse. That's what it seems like, unfortunately.